Hey guys, this is the practice quiz for sections 10.1 to 10.2 covering stem and leaf plots and histograms. So we're going to pick and choose a couple things from this quiz. If you want to get started here working along, we're going to do numbers 3 and 4 here, number 6, and number 9 and number 10 down at the bottom here. Real quick, we'll go through number 9 and we'll do number 10. All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's start with numbers 3 and 4 here. All right, so as always, go ahead, pause the video and work along and then come back and check your work. I chose these two because we have some 3-digit numbers in here and we have some decimals here, so we can maybe choose to set up our stem and leaf plots a little bit differently. So I want you to think about how to do that. Pause the video, see if you can make it happen, look back at your notes, and then come on back when you're ready. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do with our data here is go ahead, just to make it easier to look at, let's go ahead and put it in order from least to greatest. I'm going to go ahead and do that for both of these right now and just get that out of the way. Let's do it. All right, so this is probably honestly the hardest part about this is making sure that you get all the numbers and do them in order. So again, check them off as you write them down. I've done that for both of these. All right, so let's make our line for our stem and leaf plot here. Okay, so you can see here that I have made a basic stem and leaf plot for both. Let's work on number 3 here. So remember, our stem is going to be, in this case, we've been doing like tens and ones, but you can see here that we go up into the hundreds. So how are we going to do our stems here? Well, I'm going to make my stem in this plot still going to be my tens places, and my leaves is still going to be my ones. And here's how we're going to do it. So you see the lowest number of tens that we're starting with is 8. Okay, so let's start there. All right, so we're going to put our 8 right here. And we can see that we have 83, so we're going to put a 3 right there. We have 85 right here, so we're going to put a 5. 86, and that's all of our 80s. Okay, so we have 83, 85, and 86. And then we're going to move on to our 90s here. So let's fill in our 90s. All right, so you can see I filled in my 9s here, and I redid my numbers to keep my digits kind of lined up here. All right, so you can see we have 92 and 99, which were these two values up here. I forgot to cross them off. Okay, so now we get into our hundreds. So I'm going to look at our hundreds. Instead of having 9 tens, we're going to have 10 tens, which makes sense. So our stem is going to be 10, right? We have 10 tens, which is 100, and we have 0 ones right here. So we're going to put a 0. And our 104 is going to be 10 tens plus 4 ones. Okay, now you can see we move up into 110. So we add another 10. So now we have 11 tens. So we're going to put our 11 right here. We have 110. So we have 0 ones right there. And we have 115. So we have 11 tens plus 5 ones. And then hopefully you can guess. You can see now we're moving on to 12 tens for these next two. So for our stem on these, we're going to have 12 tens and 4 ones for 124, and 12 tens and 9 ones. Okay, and then lastly we have 13 tens and 0 ones. So we're going to put like that. And that completes our stem and leaf plot for this first one. Let's go on to our second one here, dealing with decimals. Okay, so over here we're dealing with decimals. So my stem in this case is going to be the ones place. Okay, so this is going to be our ones place, and this is going to be our tenths with a TH on the end, our first decimal tenths place. So let's do it. So let's look at our 2's right here, right? So we got our ones place is going to be 2, and then we have 2.0 and 2.5. So we're going to put a 0 here and a 5 here. And let's go in and fill in the 3's now. Okay, so you can see we have our 3.0, 2 3.1s, 3.5, 3.8, and 3.9 right there. So let's go and cross those out, and let's fill in the rest of the table here and see if you got it right. Okay, so there you go. Here's the rest of the chart filled in, so if we got that correctly. And now we can look and we can find some things here. Like we can see that most of our data was in the 3 range here, right? We have more numbers here in the 3's. We can also pick out things like our mode. Right, so we get 3.1 shows up twice here, but then 6.2 shows up twice down here. Okay, so we can pick out some things like that. We can also find the range. We can see that this data set goes from 2. Oh, we forgot our key on here. That's a very important part. So our key is 2, 0 equals 2.0. And then over here, our key was that 8, 3 equals 83. Okay, so that kind of tells us how we're doing. I forgot that's a very important part. Okay, so we can see that this ranges from 2.0 to 6.2, and that's the range of our data, right? So we can tell a lot of things about this. Let's move on to the next problem here. All right, so go ahead and try this one on your own. Now we're going to be dealing with making a histogram. So we have minutes practiced. Maybe we're practicing, I don't know, basketball or reading even or something. So we have spans of 9 minutes each here. And how many people practiced for those many minutes, say. Okay, so go ahead and see if you can figure out how to make a histogram and then come back and check your work when you're done. All right, so the first step is you want to set up your histogram here. All right, so our frequency, right, the amount of people that fall into each one of these buckets here, these categories, usually it goes up on the y-axis here. And you can see we went from 2 up to 11. So I spaced this out from 0 to 12 so everything can fit on there. And then along the bottom, we have our categories here. Let me make this last bar right there. Each one of these buckets, or bins we call them, right? So 0 to 19, 20 to 39, 40 to 59, and 60 to 79. Now notice that they go right against each other. There's no spaces in between them. All right, so let's look. How many people practice for 0 to 19 minutes? Well, it's right here. Let's do red. 8 people practice, so we just go right here. We go up to our 8 and draw a line straight down. You can color it in. And let's do it for the rest of them here. All right, so here it is. This is pretty straightforward here. So you can see that the people 0 to 19, they have 8. 20 to 39 right here had 10. I'm just being very careful that I'm matching up right here. 40 to 59 had 11, right? So I have my little tick mark for 11 right there. I would go halfway between 10 and 12. And then lastly, 60 to 79 had just 2 people. And this, we could tell how many people in total practice by just adding up the numbers. If we have 8 here, 10, 11, and 2, well, that's going to give us 31 right there. So we know that 31 people participated in this, okay? And that's one of the things that histogram can help us figure out. All right, let's go on to our next problem here. All right, so, question number 8, which I don't have on here, I kind of went over how data is distributed when we're looking at stem and leaf plots. But let's look at this example. So go back and look at the first 2 examples I did. I kind of talked about how the data gets distributed when we're doing a stem and leaf plot. But let's look at what we can tell by looking at a histogram here. All right, so this is a histogram showing the number of rebounds per game for a middle school basketball player this season. All right, so how many times did this player get between 0 and 1 rebounds? How many times did they get 2 or 3 rebounds, 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, right? So like maybe how many games or how many times did they do that per game? So which interval contains the most data values? How many games did the player play this season? What percent of the games did the player have 4 or more rebounds? All right, so see if you can answer these questions. Come on back when you're ready. All right, so this first one is pretty easy. Which interval contains the most data values? Well, the interval right here showing 2 to 3 rebounds, right? This happened in 6 games. In 6 games, this player got between 2 or 3 rebounds. All right, it's pretty straightforward there. Let's look at B. B says, how many games did the player play this season? Well, we got to use our brains a little bit here. And much like we did on the last slide, we just count them up, right? So right here, this 0 to 1 rebounds, that happened in 3 games. This happened in 6 games. They got this many. 4 to 5 rebounds happened in 2 games. And then 6 or 7 rebounds happened in 1 game. Okay, so we just add all these numbers up. So 3 plus 6 is 9. Plus 2 is 11, and plus 1 is 12. So this player played in 12 games. All right, now let's go on to the last one, a little bit more involved here. All right, so this last one is asking, what percent of the games did the player have 4 or more rebounds? All right, so we see that they played 12 games, right here, and they got 4 or more rebounds up here if we look at the chart in these games. So 3 games total, 3 games had 4 or more rebounds. All right, so what we do is we take our 3 games and we're going to divide that by the total number of games. And if we work this out, I'll do it by hand with you right here. 12 does not go into 3. Bring our decimal point up. 12 goes into 30 2 times. And that's going to give us 24. Hopefully I don't run out of room here. Yep, 60. I have just enough room here to show it. 12 goes into 65 times. So remember, 0.25 is not a percentage, it's a decimal. To make this a decimal or a percentage, we got to move our decimal place 2 times to the right, which means we multiply by 100. And this equals 25%. Okay, so refresh yourself on percentages if you kind of forgot how to do that. Let's go on to the last question or so here. Okay, so here we go. We have a stem and leaf plot here, and we are going to be 11 crew members, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we need to find the mean, median, mode, and range, and interquartile range of all this data. All right, come on back when you think you got it. Okay, so here we go. We're going to find the mean first. So the first thing we want to do is add up all of our numbers. So make sure you got the numbers right here, right? We start at 6 and we end up at 20. You should have 11 of them. So if we add up this top bit here, we're going to get 132. This is what a calculator comes in handy for. 132 divided by 11 numbers. And when we divide 132 by 11, we're going to get 12. All right, so the mean equals 12. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is going to be median. Okay, so we're going to use, I took these numbers and I rearranged them in order from least to greatest. We're going to use this list of numbers that I took from my stem and leaf plot to solve the next few things here. So let's look first at median. So if we count these up, we have 11 numbers here, which is an odd number of numbers. So I can see that this is actually really easy to find the median here. I want to find the very middle one, and if I look at 11 right here, I can see that I have 5 numbers on this side, and I have 5 numbers on this side. So 11 is the median. Okay, and now we want to go and we want to find the mode. And how I remember, mode kind of sounds like most. So which number shows up the most in this set of data? This is why it's also a nice idea to have them arranged in order like this. Because I can very easily see that number 8 shows up twice, and it looks like that's the only number here that shows up more than once. So 8 is the mode. Okay, so next we're going to try to find the range, and we see here our range is, okay, how many units or how many numbers does this data set span here? So our smallest number here, our least number, is 6, and our greatest number is 20. So we simply say, okay, 20 minus 6, and this gives us our range of 14. So 14 is the range. And then lastly, we want to find the interquartile range. All right, so this is why it's helpful to kind of write the numbers out like this, because you can see it's helped us solve all these. It's going to make it really easy to find interquartile range. We're halfway there. First thing we're going to look at is we found the median here, which was 11, which split our data set in half. Okay, so we want to find now this lower half. Let's find the median of this lower half. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So the median is simply going to be this middle number. We don't have to do too much work here, okay? Go back and refresh yourself on median if you have an even set of numbers. This is going to be the first quartile. And if we do the same thing with the second half of the data, once again we have 5 numbers over here. So our median is simply going to be this middle number here. And this becomes our third quartile. But we want to find the interquartile range, all right? So we want to find the range between 8 and 17. So we say 17, 17. Let's try that again. Right, 12 there. 17 minus 8, and this is going to give us a range of, or an interquartile range of 9. I'm just going to call this the interquartile, IQ, range of 9. And that is how we solve this. So go back, refresh yourself in the last chapter on how to do this stuff. And if not, good luck on the quiz, guys. I think you got this. Have fun.